Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. 5 years ago, Angelina Jolie played one of Disney's most famous villains, except she was not much of a villain in that incarnation. Now we have the sequel as she deals with the former Sleeping Beauty, Princess Aurora, marrying her prince. This is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I did not like the first Maleficent movie, as I felt it was a distortion of an excellent villain. With the sequel, I hope the filmmakers might reverse course and actually show her being, well, evil. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Maleficent is depicted here as an overprotective mother figure, but then she's pushed aside for most of it. This is one of those sequels that adds a bunch of new characters and mythology and tries to devote enough time to all of them. There's a lot going on in Mistress of Evil, and everything feels underdeveloped. Maleficent is mainly used as a plot device, only coming in when the plot requires her to. I just did not care about any of the characters in this movie, so it's hard to get invested, and it does not help how corny the dialogue is. You could argue that it's a fairy tale, and a bit of that is to be expected, but many of the classic Disney animated films don't fall into that problem. It all leads up to a climax that runs far too long with a million things going on at once, including an especially disturbing element to the villain's plan. I will say, on a production level, the film is not badly done. You can see the money spent on the sets and costumes, all of which look lavish and grand. The creature designs are also imaginative, and as a result, the only characters I actually cared about are these little creatures from the Enchanted Forest who have their own little side quest. Yes, I was more invested in characters that take up maybe 15 minutes of the movie than any of the other subplots. Overall, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is certainly pretty to look at, but there's not much beyond that. Of the recent batch of Disney movies inspired by their animated catalog, I have to say the Maleficent ones are probably my least favorite of the bunch. Next up, the 4 zombie hunters, nicknamed after American cities, are back after 10 years in Zombieland Double Tap. I enjoyed the first Zombieland as a funny and fresh take on the zombie genre, and the sequel does a good job of bringing those characters back and catching up with them after a decade. This one is a bit more meta than its predecessor, as it cleverly plays with Columbus's rules and the character interaction is great. I laughed throughout the film as we see them continue to deal with this zombie-infested world. We get a few new additions too, including Zoe Deutsch as a ditzy survivor they come across. This is a character who could have easily been the stereotypical dumb blonde stereotype, and that's certainly an element of the character, but Deutsch plays Madison with the right note that she becomes strangely endearing. Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, and Abigail Breslin also slid back into their roles nicely. Double Tap expands on the world and understands the passage of time as we meet a generation who came of age while zombies were everywhere and how they confront these brain-eating monsters. There are a good variety of zombies featured, and the sequel even shows what a zombie transformation looks like, something the first one skipped out on depicting. Director Ruben Fleischer also ups the action sequences, with one standout scene looking like it was done in one take. That's an impressive bit of choreography on the actors and stunt performers' parts. Oh, and yes, we do get to see a few more zombie kills of the week, now changed to zombie kill of the year. I admit to having a fondness for zombie movies, and Zombieland Double Tap features many of the elements I like in a good zombie movie, with some solid comedy added in for good measure. It's also just great seeing these characters again, and by the way, stick around through the end credits for some fantastic bonuses. Thanks for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.